Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm greatly enjoying my new roommates. It's been a nice week of adjusting into, how we present ourselves, and how we communicate and such. So tell me, what has your attention in life? Intention from a point of view that you don't know quite what to do about it, so, and it has to be something that is within your responsibility. You're not responsible for a war on the other side of the country. What is it that your body should be doing if it wants to experience a flow of grace through it as it, right?
I would say it just came to me about my purpose in relationships.
Your purpose, your life purpose, and relationships is two different subjects, or is relationships with how in the world you have a relationship on a human level if you are performing on embodying, the truth that sets you free, That's got to be a dance with somebody who's in synchronization with you, where you're both agreeing for yourselves and the other's experience that you're sharing your opening and your awakening, and the intention should be for that to be finally. Okay. So yeah, we're at the point where I'll be the stand-in for your partner, okay? And I'll say, the dreams that I've had for myself are coming true. And my life is changing fundamentally and qualitatively. And so this is the flow that I'm going to harmonize with, and it would be wonderful for me if you were choosing that same thing for yourself, because I'd like to continue this dance that we've been dancing with each other, even if we change dance halls and learn a new way to be. Yeah, and it's not so much that we're learning a new way to be, it's something we've always known. But, we've been here dealing with people the way that they are, and there never seemed to be a call for us to be something maybe a little shocking to someone that's fully in pretense, fully in pretend, and completely misidentified, with the body and the words and the thoughts, ideas, and belief systems. For you to flow here, you have to pull back from all that while being oneness with it. You give this world, you give those other lives the freedom to be exactly as they are. It's not for you to demand that they be in sync with your rather possibly early awakening, in terms of, if we're all going to do it, then, there's a lot of us still to do it from my point of view, including myself. So relationships. I'm not qualified, but it's probably something I can talk about anyway. You have to look for a way to be delighted that you're with the person that you're with. And you'll find that if you look for it. Because you'll have to look beneath the patterns and the thoughts and the belief systems. You'll have to look down into their heart and soul. Where your reactions are awe and wonder. And grateful. So, a person can't be seen for the truth that they themselves may be unaware of. They can't be looked at truly and long resist their own internal urge to harmonically resonate with a free consciousness, so that they can feel at home themselves. So, if you're going to have a relationship at this time, then I'd suggest you find someone willing to play the biggest game of all with you. It's not about the other one. It's the universal and eternal being present and flowing as the other to you. Universal love, universal consciousness, power, awareness, compassion. And to the degree that you can open to receive that from your environment, wherever it's coming from, whether it's your significant other or some ascended master or some divine goddess saying, how's my girl Izzy doing? You know, when you feel the touch of the divine, don't just open to receive it, open to embrace it. Open and continue opening until you can give it a full body hug. And how open do you have to be for that? You have to open to the universe, at least, to be able to give the divine a good hug, because it permeates it all, supports it all, including every atom of your body. So how much of your creator consciousness, your eternal self-awareness, would you have to open into being, letting in that much more of yourself, of your consciousness, of your presence? How much more you do you have to be for the body of you to be free, to be self-aware, to be self-realized, to move in your wisdom and your grace? How much more you does it take for you to be true to yourself? And for me, to myself. How much more open do I have to be where I'm a blessing?
Recording in progress.
where I'm a blessing to myself instead of a burden. You know, where I'm a net benefit to other people instead of taking and not giving. So I'm in the midst of a rather beautiful opening that's been profound, and in just, you know, things started improving about a week ago and a month before that, but we're experiencing some profound change, inner changes for us, you know, some bliss, which is unheard of for me. So what about life and identity, personality, and other people and yourself? What if you knew the answer to it and was willing to embody it? What would you need to embrace or understand? You know, for you to be able to open enough to make that quantum leap that part of you so wants to make, you know, that, you know, the impossible dream, you know, the divine awakened within its experience of itself in a body, you know. I suspect that that's the fundamental intention of all consciousness, you know, is to come in and experience what it is to be defined and limited by the physical structure and its history and its properties. And then awaken as that, from that point of view, from that experience. Entirely self-identified as the creation that we made. The creator believing it's the creation. The creator that created an experience for individual self, and then getting lost in that experience and forgetting who you are. Now, maybe it was intentional. If it was intentional, when did you intend for it to end? Any possibility of you moving it to this moment in time? Having this time and place be where you opened up to the truth of yourself and allowed that to re-educate your body, to change your self-identification, to including your life as it's been. All of those circumstances undeniably were what they were. But if you bring in your truth, the truth that sets you free, then, you know, it's the merger of the divine and the profane, you know, good and evil, you know, the temporary and the eternal. So this aspect of ourselves is temporary, which is the physical body, that life, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, you know, at some point. The only thing we're changing is our intention, and that is to take responsibility for our body in a wise way. you know, and not from a victim point of view, but from a consciousness that knows that it's freely able to choose the experiences it wants to have. So if you can freely choose the experiences in life that you want to have, which are the ones that you'd really choose? What life change do you want for yourself? And if you had it, and then had it for a very long time, for decades afterwards, and you look back at the time you're making this decision to be that for the rest of your life, at the end of your life, looking back on that choice, is it still something you would do just the way you did it? Or would you maybe, consider what it would mean to surrender to something worthy of the name divine? You know, one that's omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, unconditionally loving and supportive of you. You know, in other words, if your best friend was the greatest creator there's ever been, more knowledgeable, more wise, more loving, you know, if you quantify things in more or less, you know, if there's a competition on who's the best God, you know, there isn't, but the point is you get to choose a good one, you know, you get to choose to have something that inspires you to choose to go home when it's the right time for you, while you're still alive, while you're still able to act and be acted upon, you know. What do you do when you have merely a universe of possibilities for yourself, depending on how present you're going to be here in your eternal nature and awareness? What is it exactly that you'd like to create here as that consciousness, as your eternal self, saying, okay, how's this life going out? Oh, okay. What was it after all that I wanted to accomplish in that life? Because it seems like I'm slightly off. So what did I intend for myself that I'm not quite being? I mean, I accept everything that I am as my best efforts to be this. You know, you can't start off by condemning yourself, you know. You have to accept every aspect of who you are and how you came to be that. All of those circumstantial things. But as soon as you do accept it truly, energetically, you know, emotionally, intellectually, experientially, it changes who you are. You know, the solidities begin to, you know, lighten up. You get lighter and lighter and lighter until there's kind of an etheric quality to it, and then it just begins moving, you know, it's flowing. So is it okay, you know, to open enough for that divine, wise, and wonderful divine flow to flow as you? You know, how much can you open into to experience that for yourself? And then your abilities to open and grow more, increase exponentially. You know, each time you open up, now you can open up twice as much again, and so on and so on and so on. So how much do we open to be free, to be flowing, you know, to be knowing what we need to know, and we need to know it here, you know, where we're not misjudging life and our circumstances. So we have to pay attention to ourselves. We have to be in communication with the body and the mind. Until each aspect of yourself is smiling in its appreciation of your being in harmony internally now. All aspects of yourself choosing their wholeness. Once the flow starts moving and breaking up all of those issues and traumas and significant things that you're resisting or hiding, all of that gets freed up. And what's it feel like for body to feel that movement into freedom? Those internal dams that made out of, again, stuck energy from oppositional thoughts and belief systems. You know, the idea that you can and would ever consider harming yourself, or limiting your self-awareness, your effectiveness, you know. You don't have to completely disable yourself here in order to behave properly. You know, how do you, if you're going to open up and you're going to self-realize, is it possible to do it in a manner where it's a comfortable experience for everybody that you're with? You know, where they don't feel judged or disrupted or anything other than maybe a little bit inspired by the new you. You know, there's a million ways to do your awakening. You know, consider letting it flow beautifully instead of using dynamite and blowing yourself up. Just feel what you are. Feel what you created yourself to be. And be grateful that you're here. And grateful that you kept yourself open enough and free enough that you could seriously consider whether or not you're going to fully realize, or when you do. Not if, but when. But it's probably a good idea to try a little of it right now. You can probably go back unconscious again afterwards if you're really determined to, but what would it be like? What would it be like if You're able to see clearly, to hear clearly, to understand intentions, to be able to see other people for who and what they are in terms of their programming and how they're going to respond to any situation. It's okay for that to be obvious to you, so that, you know, if you're water and they're rocks, you know, you learn how to flow without it being a battle. The rocks love the water loves the rocks. And they don't try to have a relationship where they say they're the same. You know, so just decide who it is that you're going to say that you are now to the universe, to all of us. You know, are you going to continue on the trajectory of your life movement so far? Is, you know, kind of like your life and is like an arrow that's been shot out of a bow, and you're flying through air on the air on a trajectory that's pretty predictable. You know who you're going to be tomorrow, and next week, and next month. Maybe next year we'll have quite a bit of change, maybe not, but you got a real good idea who you are and how you're going to show up. What if you got a really good idea of who you were and who you are beyond the physical body, beyond the story of this life? Shouldn't you be making your decisions from that self-awareness? Not the bodies, not the collective human consciousness that behaves in, you know, with these responses according to each particular state of consciousness. There. What's it like to be authentically you? What would that feel like to your body if your spirit came in and said, "Hey, I'm back. Mind if I drive for a while? Mind if I assess what's been going on automatic while I've been gone? You know, is my temple clean? No. Somebody must have fired the maid." So feel and look and let go. Don't try to make plans for the future beyond what you need to do to easily survive and maintain your circumstances. The rest of the time, though, feel what it is to be you. Feel every trauma you ever had until you're grateful for it. So at that time, you're free from them. It's just a degree of how much you're willing to open to feel it. And it's okay, it's not going to kill you. And if you'd have felt it deeply at the moment that it occurred, you wouldn't have been carrying it with you the rest of all of your life. You know, pain and suffering is for here now and now gone. You know, it's an impact. Okay, so what? We're still here. So let all the impacts go. They're not precious treasures to be carried around for the rest of your life. How do you let them go? Feel them. Feel that trauma, feel that fear, feel that suffering. It's okay, it won't kill you. Feel the unconsciousness. Feel what you decided to hide from yourself forever. and embrace it. And say, this is where I'm waking up, because this is where I went unconscious to the truth of myself. So for me, the answer is paying more attention in a profound way, in a complete looking with curiosity and compassion for myself, a willingness to forgive myself, a willingness to understand that everything that I've done, I did feeling that was the best choice. So the consciousness that we experience reality with is important to us. Most of us operate on a default setting where whatever happens to us, pushes our buttons one way or the other. We're either celebrating or suffering or loving or hating or something in between according to how we experience different parts of reality. But our time for being an actor in a play where we fool ourselves and everybody else, where we're so good at acting as life that the story of the life is all there is. There's no room for the actor being or having a truth greater than the role that he's playing, or she. So allow that to come up. Yeah, there was a lot of suffering about that. About having to go unconscious to the fact that you're an actor in a play, and that it's all pretend. Even though it's life and death, there's a beginning and an end, and there's a context to everything that is such that it's not going to matter 100 years from now. There's nothing about our life and our body that's going to bother us after the point that we're dead. But to the degree that we can experience life with a change of consciousness, if there's something that's achievable, and by achievable I mean something that you could embrace and work with, and then within a reasonable amount of time be moving as your wholeness, living your truth. And by your truth, I mean not your circumstances, but your authentic essence and presence. The experience of what it is to be you that moves beyond lifetimes. Yeah. That's what you're coming into your body with now. What's always true about you, if you're relatively awake and aware of yourself? The truth of you is something, that I think the rest of us would like to celebrate whenever you're living it. When you're here as that. And so I'm not condemning, I'm speaking all of this for myself, How do I open up and do it in such a way that it's good for me and good for you too? Where it's not disruptive to who people are being and what they're trying to do for their lives. How do you go through a personal process of transformation and not create changes on other people's lives that they would rather not confront right now? If the new you inspires somebody to open because they can see their truth in your eyes, they can see that you see their eternal nature. Well, that's fair game, I think. If instead you're just a genius and brilliant in everything that you do, but harbor a little bit of disappointment for the rest of us that didn't quite achieve that the way you did. We weren't as brilliant as you. How do you let go of a you that was such a beautiful creation? How do you let that go if you have to for something better to come, for the greater truth of you? That's why it's so much easier for criminals to surrender and go free eventually. Because the people who are living beautiful lives, what more do they wish to achieve? Their lives aren't defined by their suffering. So as much as you want to condemn yourself and say it's not appropriate for you to have or do or be something, it's either the wrong time or the wrong place or not worthy enough yet or something. But what if being unworthy was the requirement? To be worthy, you had to be unworthy. That makes it a little easier, doesn't it? Give yourself permission to fly. And that's really what it's all about, is giving ourselves permission to know what the truth is about ourselves. Beyond context, beyond time, and beyond space. Beyond this life, of course. And I think if we see ourselves clearly in those realms, then our identification, our self-identification, will shift enough for us to maintain our awareness of our wholeness, as we take a good look at our body, like I was talking about before, the experience of being you. First experience your wholeness energetically. And when that begins to flow, then examine your body. Move in as a, as a creative flow, as a flow of, wise, compassionate awareness. Then as you experience your body, all of that self-condemnation comes off. And you begin to experience your peace, within your self-experience. And for me, it's like, wow, I never really thought I'd ever experience that. What is it to be at peace, to feel bliss? For some reason, even though I've been exploring the fringes, I've restricted my ability to lose myself in life to the point from enjoying it too much. I've kept myself just troubled enough to never stop opening to find out exactly what's going on here and who I am and what my place is in it. Not to pat myself on the back, but just for a little orientation. I feel a little sober tonight for some reason. I had a beautiful day today. One of the most enjoyable days of my life was today. I felt internally at peace, for the first time I could remember. And I actually was talking to my friend, my business partner, and I said, for the first time in my life today, I'm walking around and I'm feeling like I'm blessed. I have a gratitude because I feel like I'm truly being blessed right now. And that's a new experience for me. And I've come from a very judgmental place about judging myself. Harshly and possibly for good reason, but that's only when I take in the circumstantial truth, and much of that's forgiven because whatever consciousness you lose yourself in, you act appropriately from there, Whatever map of reality is real for you, you're going to walk those roads. Those paths will be well worn by you. And you think it's real and you think it's true and you behave appropriately for what you know, and what you feel, and what you see. So it's okay. The past is okay. And the present moment, for me, is still awaiting my choice as to how much of my opening, how self-aware I'm willing to be, how much of my truth am I going to embody, how much am I going to allow my life to shift, because that's the limitation that we put on self-realization. Because if you get anywhere near the majority of your truth being you, if there could be such a measurement, it'd be like changing the channel to a new, different movie coming on. You know, you like changing clothes. You know, you got a new suit on. You're going swimming instead of to the office. So what's the right amount for you to open right now so that you could easily achieve by choice, and with a little attention easily maintain it? And observe your new map of reality, your new and improved one, that says, oh, by the way, if you become more aware and more loving, more real here, then it shifts the resonant frequency around you, and it acts to attract things in a different way, so that your experience of life here is fundamentally changed. To everyone else, it might look exactly the same, but for you, it's a new universe. And that's probably not such a bad thing. I mean, everybody runs away screaming, knocking themselves unconscious, and distracting themselves until they don't know what's up or down to keep away from the truth that would set them free, because they somehow feel that it would be an ending to the game of reality, when in reality it's just we finally got enough sense to live divinely. You know, it's the new opportunity that we have, you know, to choose ourselves into, because it's the fundamental truth of us all. But you know, could it be that there's a divine celebration going on right now that if you don't say no too much, you know, you've got a constant moment by moment invitation to join in. If you just say maybe a little, what happens to a body when it takes a little look at heaven on earth? It realizes that it was something. Not a thought or an idea or a belief, but there was something. Some kind of qualities. Some sort of presence and something really compelling about it. Take a little bit of a look, you know. Is it okay to do what the people did, probably, that had stories that lasted hundreds and thousands of years told about them and how wonderful they were, you know, because they found God within their own heart, in their own mind, and moving as their own soul. What if we all just did that? What kind of celebration would there be? How would life celebrate a universal awakening? How would yours Yeah, it gives it a little hope, doesn't it? You know? The interesting thing that happens when you're talking about the divine or talking to it, sometimes it considers that an invitation to act upon you, you know, opening your eyes a little, or your heart, saying, yeah, it's okay. It's okay to know your history beyond the body, beyond life. As you move through life, it's a smart way to do it, actually. I can't say to the degree that it was allowed or not allowed in the past, but it sure feels like the door is open right now. The invitation's right here, not for me, but I can feel it. I can consider it. I can feel that virtually every aspect of my physicality. The initial and emphatic response is, no, thank you. I've barely figured out how to move through life the way that I am. I'm just finally figuring it out and getting good at it. And you want me to go completely back into chaos again, not knowing who I am, what I am? Yeah. Yeah, it's time. Time to know your truth. You know, the story's not going to be forgotten. It's just not going to be the programming. It's not going to be the lawyer and the law and the judge and the jury and the prison. There, wow. That was a big lock to unlock. Feels better now. You can point me in any direction you want to. If you've been thinking about something. Yeah, it's okay for there to be pregnant silences. It's okay to notice what aspects get nervous and feeling like you should say or do something. All of that's the programming. And we're coming in clean now, remember? Authentically you. So when we come in, the programming gets activated, and so we have to embrace it, and hold it with compassion until it comes to its senses. It's really kind of that simple. Hold yourself with compassion and understanding until you come to your senses. And you can begin to appreciate truly, not egoically, but truly. You begin to experience yourself and you go, wow, okay. I didn't think it was going to be this easy. Thought I was going to have to work on it 107 more lifetimes. Just a really great work in this one. Yeah, it's true. In your stillness, you find your truth. And that's how you clean up your temple. By not doing anything at all. Just being in it and feeling it. Not moving a bit. Not even having to think about anything. You're on vacation. You don't have to think. You don't have to move. Now that's a real vacation. life as it is. There's actions too now, you know. You take a quantum leap, right? You take a divine step up the stairway to heaven. You learn your new reality, but you still got to clean your room, you know. And organization in your life, responsibility, ending off on relationships, ending off on communications, beginning new relationships. The time to get to know yourself. It's time to take that time. And to realize that there's nobody, not one person, not even your worst enemy, that doesn't want you to be your truth. To know what it is to experience transcendence is something that, you know, you could be the picture of if somebody wanted a definition or a photo. But for you to be the picture of that, how much more do you have to experience of that life? The energetics of the body, you know, the magnetism, the emotions, the belief systems. The cellular memories, you know. This lifetime and every previous one. That goes down the line, your ancestry. So I will, I'll work on that tonight or tomorrow and make that into one of the messages for the night. And we'll get you a nice photo of that. And if you printed it out in color and put it on your bathroom mirror, that, you know, wake up. Be still. Until the movement of grace, divine self-awareness, is how you begin your day, begin your movement. And I saw it 4 times tonight. Let's see, let me see it one more time before we say goodnight. Oh, no, I'm just, I'm just opening to feel when you open and when you embody your grace, it shifts my reality. I feel the energy of it, and so I just wanted to feel that radiance one last time as you said goodnight. Yeah. Okay, now so pay attention for yourselves. Feel what's moving through her right now and how beautiful it is. If I was half my age, I'd come and get you. Because, if a man really knew what he wanted and what was good for him, it's a divinely self-aware woman. Well, thanks for your time, and thank you for your opening. It's a beautiful experience. Good night. Yeah.